Quickly, before we gear up for the first race this season, a couple of things. Throughout your career, you'll get a lot of important information. Keep an eye on this tab between each race to see what you've been sent. We also have a wonderful team of specialists that will be dedicating some of their time to help us this season. When you have a moment, we should go and get introduced. They don't bite, I promise. Driver Details contains all the important information for your accolades, contracts, rivalries, and driver ratings. Keep an eye on it throughout the season.
Hi mate, Mark here. I'm your engineer for the season ahead, and I'm absolutely buzzing to be working with you. When you're ready, come and see me over in R&D and we can chat about the development of the car. See you soon.
Your specialists are a team of experts that will be working with us part-time to maximize your research and development within the team. They will offer you goals to complete each race weekend. Completing these goals will increase your relationship level with a specialist. When that level increases, you'll get perks that improve their area of R&D. You can see each specialist's title and current level here, as well as a message stating whether they have some goals available. Selecting a specialist will take you to a details screen where you can view their perks and goals. When you're ready, select an available specialist to see what they are offering you. Each specialist will have perks that match their area of expertise. As you improve your relationship with a specialist, you'll gain access to the corresponding perk. You can also select which of the available goals you would like for the upcoming race weekend. You can change your choice at any time from here or at the track before entering the first session of the weekend. After entering the first session, your selected goal will be locked in. You can see your selected goals and can view this during the weekend. After the race, you'll get a rundown of which goals you passed or failed and any progress made towards each specialist's level. If you fail a goal, you'll lose progress. So pick goals you're confident in completing. In short, don't get greedy. This icon represents your primary specialist. They will offer double XP for successfully completing goals to help you unlock their perks faster. You can choose any available specialist to be your primary and change this right up until you enter the first session of a race weekend. Welcome to your Contracts Hub. Here, you'll be able to view your current contract and all the information relating to it. To start, you can see all the base information for your current contract, your target rating, your current rating, and more. In this main area, you'll find a graph that tracks your rating each race. It will also display your target, so you can see how far off you are. Obviously, we haven't raced yet, so there's no data. Be sure to come back and check this after each race weekend.
Okay, mate, let's chat R&D. Research and developments may be the most important aspect of F1, and you and I are going to work together to bring on the car's performance. This is where you'll be investing in upgrades. We have 4 areas of development. Here you can see an overview of the departments and how many upgrades are currently applied in each. Selecting one of these will take you to their respective tech trees. In order to develop upgrades, you'll have your very own resource point account, unique to you as a driver. Your teammate's going to have their own one too. Your current resource points can be viewed on your player card here, and points are earned passively each week. And the higher your recognition, the more points we'll give you. You can also earn points via practice programs, and, well, you know how much I love getting good data. Finally, this chart shows the performance you've extracted from each department based on the number of applied upgrades. You can also see the max potential for each department based on the remaining upgrades. Hopefully it helps you to see where we are and how far we can go. Upgrades can be purchased by you and your teammate, so remember to play nice. Each upgrade will be labelled with the driver that purchased it. Any upgrade that's been completed will be applied to both cars at the team. But no matter who did it, remember that if the car's slow, well, it's down to the drivers, and if it's quick, it's all thanks to me. OK, here's where you're going to purchase and manage your upgrades for each department. If a part fails development, you can also come here to restart and finalise it, but just don't have a go at me when you do. As you develop parts, you're going to unlock access to more. Highlighting locked upgrades will tell you what's required to gain access to it. For each department, you can quickly view which perks are available as a result of your relationship with our specialists and your current recognition within the team. When you select an upgrade, you can quickly view some information about it. The estimated completion timeline, the upgrade that it unlocks, as well as where we stand in the development race. Finally, you can see the failure chance of the upgrade, or if you can't afford it, a bit of red pen from me saying that you haven't got enough points. If you want to rush something through, though, you can do that here if you have a high enough recognition and if you want to risk a higher failure chance. Tip from me, though, if you do want to rush something, buy the crew some sweets as thanks for the overtime. Here, you're going to be able to see a list of upgrades that are currently in progress. This is now split between upgrades that you started and those that your teammates started, so I know exactly who's getting the brownie points after a good weekend. You can toggle which list you want to see right here.
The long wait is over. This is it, a brand new season. And before the show gets well and truly underway, we've got the all-important matter of a free practice session. It's great to be back.
Okay mate, this is the first running of the real car. Now I know it's a big ask, but let's get some useful data and get you used to how the practice sessions work. Let's start the season as we mean to go on, eh? I know we can have a great year, so let's go. you're leading the pack, that's P1. Okay, you've got front wing damage. This will have a major impact on performance unless you box for a new one. We've had to spend time repairing the damage to the car. Damage to your front wing, damage to your front wing. Suggest we box to change it. Car repairs have set us back a little.
And that's it. Practice is officially over. Until next time, goodbye. And a warm welcome, everybody. We're here in the heart of Melbourne. It's Albert Park, and it's qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix. With qualifying complete, all that remains now is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the Grand Prix tomorrow, so make sure you join us then. The winter is over. It's time for Formula One 2025. Yes, that long break that you've all been coping with so well can now be put to the back of your minds. It's on-track action and it's off-track drama. That's what we're looking forward to. We go racing today then in the state of Victoria, where the drivers have 14 corners and 3.28 miles to navigate at an average lap speed of around 120 miles per hour. The close proximity of the barriers make accidents inevitable, and recent history shows us that a safety car is not at all out of the question. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Lando Norris put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And Oscar Piastri completes the front row. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Hamilton, Verstappen, Fernando Alonso, and Tsunoda, Russell, Leclerc, Sainz and Lance Stroll, Antonelli, Cowboy, Esteban Ocon and Behrman, Hulkenberg, Albon, Isaac Hadjar and Liam Lawson, Gasly and Franco Colapinto rounds off the grid. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. And alongside me for this afternoon's commentary, Naomi Schiff. Good afternoon, Gnomes. As much as I like testing, and I do love testing, and I've really enjoyed the build-up here and all the speculation, I really want to see some action. And finally today, we get some proper action on the track.
This is always such an exciting time in the season. First of all, it's the first time they'll be racing their new cars. So that's always an exciting thing for drivers to look forward to. But also, they've had a long time off during the winter break. So it's about dusting the cobwebs off, getting the rust off of their bones, and really getting their elbows out there and having some fun.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down. That move was illegal, I'm afraid, mate. Return the position, give it back. That's a decent start, good job. DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone. Look out for a bit of understeer when trailing the car ahead. They're going to be giving off dirty air, which is going to affect our tyres, so try to get past. Nice move, good job. Okay, you're in the top 10. Okay, be careful with the front wing, you've taken some minor damage. Okay, gap ahead, 3.7 seconds. No need to worry about the tyre condition for now, everything's looking good. Okay, we're approaching the pit window. You're going to be on softs. Okay, mate. Okay, science is behind you. We want to keep them behind, please. It's critical for our race. That wasn't quite what we needed, I'm afraid, but listen, don't worry about it. It's a long way to go, so let's just focus until the end. Gap to your teammate behind, 1.9 seconds. And gap to the car in front, 5.1 seconds. Okay, Nico's into the pits. Nico in the pits. Okay, we're boxing this lap. Give us the best in lap you can. Okay, pit in this lap, and remember the speed limit. We'll be penalised if we exceed it. Keep that in mind as you approach. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go. Okay, so gap to the car ahead, 3.3 seconds. Catching the car ahead, well done, but be aware these tyres need to get us to the end of this race. Okay, mate, after that front wing damage, we've got to look after it now. Please protect the front wing. Come on. Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 3.7 seconds. We didn't quite get what we needed out of that, I'm afraid, but don't worry about it. There's a long way to go. Chin up, and let's focus till the end. Okay, no issues with tyre wear for now. Keep taking care of them. Caution, caution. Green flag. Some information on Antonelli. Right, they've got a serious car issue. It looks like they're retiring. Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
Here's the checkered flag. The fans rise to their feet. It's Lando Norris for victory.
To take the win at the first race of the season, now that is important. You get straight in to your competitor's head and they now know that you are the one to beat.
From lights out to the checkered flag, this is what they're racing for. It's points and a trip to the podium. He holds the trophy aloft, and why shouldn't he? A richly deserved win today for Lando Norris. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time out? Be sure to join us once again as we continue to bring you all the excitement of Formula One.
Hello and welcome to Free Practice 1 from Shanghai International Circuit here in China. It's an imposing grandstand structure, tarmac that presents all sorts of challenges in these cooler temperatures. Crucial data needs to be gathered and unique challenges will be presented throughout the session.
I've had a chat with the R&D team about the new parts and we're happy that they've been integrated into the car okay. With any luck you'll be able to feel the improvement, so go and give them a try.
What an incredible practice session that was. But the fun doesn't stop here, though. Join us again as the rest of the weekend unfolds. Welcome along to Shanghai, ladies and gentlemen, where it's Chinese Grand Prix weekend. But before we can race, we need to qualify. And who's going to take that coveted pole position? How will our grid line up? We're about to find out. Welcome to qualifying. And that's it for sprint qualifying. Plenty more coming up over the rest of the weekend. So we'll see you all tomorrow. So it's all about speed in today's sprint, not very many laps and no chance to get ahead on strategy. Who here today has the raw skill to take them to the top? We start a lap here at Shanghai with the long, difficult right-handers of turns 1 and 2, the first of 16 corners that make up this 3.3-mile circuit. The incredibly long back straight provides the best passing opportunity of the lap, with speeds in excess of 200 miles per hour before we head into the braking zone of turn 14. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. Lando Norris will lead us away from pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Cowboy, George Russell and Piastri, Albon, Fernando Alonso, Verstappen and Isaac Hadjar, Sainz, Hülkenberg, Ollie Behrman and Stroll, Tsunoda, Lawson, Esteban Ocon and Andrea Kimi Antonelli. Gasly and Franco Colapinto rounds off the grid. Which of these drivers will get pole position today? We'll soon find out. Well, it's been a long time since I last worked with you. Good to see you again today. Anthony Davidson. Well, they say that a change is as good as a rest, and whilst there's not much rest on show in the sprint format today, there's definitely a change to what we're usually seeing on the track. Now, I'll be generous here. It's not that long ago that you were racing and entertaining us on a Sunday, but in the years since, the sport has changed quite a bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really has, Crofty. You know, the cars have got bigger, they're heavier, but critically, there's more downforce to play with as well now. There was about 4 tons of downforce on the car at 300 kilometres an hour when I drove. You're now looking more towards 5 tons of downforce. So there's a big difference in performance. But because of that, the car being heavier and bigger, you've got to drive in a smoother way. You've got to look after it a bit more. You've got to nurse it through the slow speed corners more. They were much more nimble, agile machines when I drove in Formula 1 compared to now.
OK, we've got that relief of having points on the board finally, so let's keep that form up and get another top. DRS now enabled. DRS enabled. watch out for understeer in the wake of the car ahead. Try to get past as quickly as you can. Push, push. Okay, final lap. Let's go. Final lap. Yes, mate, I'll take that. Well done. We're really happy with the podium down here, so well done. Yes.
So that wraps up the sprint race, but there's still more action yet to come this weekend. We've got qualifying and, of course, the Grand Prix. Welcome along to Shanghai, ladies and gentlemen, where it's Chinese Grand Prix weekend. But before we can race, we need to qualify. And who's going to take that coveted pole position? How will our grid line up? We're about to find out. Welcome to qualifying.
This graph charts the performance progress of all of the teams. It allows you to view our progress versus the rest of the competition over multiple seasons. And you know me, I love a graph.
The Chinese Grand Prix, then, is upon us once again. It's a race that saw Michael Schumacher claim his final Formula One victory in 2006, as well as Red Bull's first win with Sebastian Vettel in 2009. There's no doubt there's plenty more drama to come here in Shanghai. Shanghai International Circuit, then, is a 16-corner high-speed thrill ride. The long and ever-tightening right-hander at turns 1 and 2 tests a driver's patience, and the flat, open to the elements location, test their skill in a crosswind. 2 DRS zones will assist passing, and they're available into turn 1 and down the kilometre-long back straight into turn 14. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Lando Norris put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position, just ahead of George Russell, who starts this event from P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Cowboy, Charles Leclerc, and Verstappen, Antonelli, Gasly, Fernando Alonso, and Esteban Ocon, Hülkenberg, Tsunoda, Isaac Hadjar, and Piastri, Sainz, Albon, Ollie Behrman, and Lance Stroll. Lawson and Franco Colapinto rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track. And alongside me in the commentary box, my old friend, Anthony Davidson. And let's talk momentum with this driver. What a sprint it was. They start at 0 once again for today, but with a huge amount of confidence, surely. Now, we had great fun watching them win last time out. What a great victory it was. But can they carry that into today's race?
It's the important one, isn't it, Crofty? You've done it once, can you do it again? But, you know, if you start believing in yourself and the confidence starts to build, that inner confidence is what you need. And you can carry that through to future races, including this one, and you set that ball rolling. That's the critical thing that they're looking for here. And I believe if you've got that first race win or a win at any stage, it can start to roll with you in a good way.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down. DRS now enabled. DRS enabled. The weather's turning. We think it's time to box now. Understood. Copy that. Okay, I think it might just be about time to come and change these tyres. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops. Let's go. Okay, clear. Gap to your teammate behind, 15.9 seconds. No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving. It looks like we're running on a dry track soon. Back to dry shortly. Okay mate, right, we've got some clear track in front of us, so let's make best use of it and make the next lap a quick one. You got this. Okay, looks like some of those puddles are clearing. We're still definitely on the right tyre for the time being, but we're probably not a million miles away from slick conditions. Nice work, you smashed it. Really good job on hitting that target, mate. Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 33.7 seconds. Okay, mate, lap times are a little erratic at the moment. We need consistency, so let's try and stabilise them. Weather's changing now, you might want to review our strategy. Copy that. No tyre concerns at the moment, just focus on the driving. Nico's coming in for his stop now. That was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up. Well done. Good job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far.
days. There's no guarantee they're going to last forever. Enjoy them as long as they last. I love you guys.
Absolutely awesome. Just amazing, mate. Well done.
It's victory in Shanghai, and what a victory it is after an incredible Grand Prix.
Well, it all came good in the end for them, but it wasn't an easy start. Not the most straightforward of days, but I think it shows great strength in an athlete as a driver when you can overcome a day like this and walk away still with a victory.
So here they come now, out onto the podium. It's thrilling to see this team go toe-to-toe with the best in the sport and come out on top. What a superb victory for the Sauber team. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action, and I can't wait to see what's next.